Hi, I'm Noah, and I'm roasting one person who passed away in every year of the 20th century. Today I'll be roasting oil tycoon, 1935 loss, and a man who looks like a mouse that you'd find out was secretly working with the cats, Edward L. Doheny. Doheny was the inspiration for Upton Sinclair's novel Oil, and it's his adaptation, the movie There Will Be Blood, where the character based on Doheny is the very greedy, very charming, and very violent Daniel Plainview. Of course, that's just a movie. In real life, Doheny wasn't very charming. To supercharge his oil business, Doheny bought huge swaths of land in Mexico, where he bribed people in the highest levels of government, and established what the writer and historian Richard Rayner described as a clear-cut apartheid system. I'll say this for Doheny: for someone who seems incredibly gross, it is impressive that he made enough money where people hung out with him anyway. Doheny was implicated in the Teapot Dome scandal, where he bribed his old friend, U.S. Secretary of Interior Albert Fall, with a $100,000 loan that was delivered in cash in order to lease a government-owned oil field. Say what you will about Doheny, but the fact that he had a friend as loyal as Fall says a lot about his character, and the fact that he still needed to give him a $100,000 bribe says even more. Fall ended up being convicted of taking the bribe, but Doheny was found not guilty of bribing him. That legal oddity can be explained by the fact that the two men, of course, had two different juries, and Doheny only really had room in his bribe budget for one. Because Doheny's son Ned and his secretary Hugh Plunkett had actually delivered the bribe to Fall, the Dohenys decided to pressure Plunkett to check himself into a mental institution so he couldn't be made to testify. Plunkett didn't do it, which is good. If he had believed that the Dohenys had his best interests at heart, he really would have needed help with his mental health. Ned and Plunkett died when one shot the other and then shot himself, and although there are conflicting reports on who was the shooter, it is true that the Dohenys had Ned buried outside of their family plot in a Catholic cemetery where people who took their own lives would have been forbidden. Still, the fact that Ned was buried in a different cemetery is pretty shaky evidence. Maybe Doheny was just being a crappy father. Alright, please consider donating to help the family that I sponsor in Gaza. If you'd like to support me or watch bonus videos, please check out my Then let me know who else to roast, and join me next time when I'll be roasting Spanish fascist, 1936 loss, and a man who looks like he was turned into a vampire and stopped aging at the exact wrong amount of baldness, Jose Antonio Primo de Rivera.